All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's do a quick review of the World Cup final. Okay, so let's get into it. We had Spain and Argentina. Little backstories. The Argentinians, everybody hates them. Everybody hates them coming in this game. There's a bunch of conspiracy. You have one particular fan base, if you know what I'm saying, who they can't see this. I mean, this has been the worst hate watch of the history of hate watch for them this whole tournament. This was their last chance. This is the last chance to save the direct consequence of having to hear about Lionel Messi having 2 World Cups. You couldn't hear that. So there's been a lot of conspiracy about FIFA colluding with Lionel Messi and Argentina to win the World Cup. And obviously, as the tournament went on, that conspiracy got a little bit stronger because there were plays that were favored towards Argentina that helped them get through the next round of each of the games they had. No doubt about it. That's not to say there wasn't call going against them as well, because that did happen, But they're the bigger team sometimes in these tournaments. The bigger teams get favorite calls. And people interpret that being simply colluding. Oh, they're colluding. They want them to win, And you have Lionel Messi who's having a legendary time. Let's think about this guy's career. We're talking about a guy who literally retired. He literally retired because he couldn't win anything in a national level. And then eventually he came back. When he came back, it was completely a whole new team. It was guys that watched him retire. Okay? Guys that watched him suffer through finals after finals not making it. Finally, somebody convinced him. The story goes, it was a final against Chile, and the Chile captain, father called them and told them, hey, man, you should call Lionel Messi because he respects you. The idea of him retiring is a joke. His country needs him. We like the guy. Think about it. His arch nemesis, in a way, you know what I mean? Chile and Argentina obviously don't get along. His arch nemesis called him and be like, hey, man, you can't retire. And he was back. He was back with a new ventures, new team. They put the pieces together while they were growing up. This was their idol. And they understand what this means, like why he left, why he came back. They get it. And these guys would just die for this guy. So they started winning trophies. He started winning national trophies, and they just stopped losing games in general. I think the record is, before coming to this game, Argentina played like 109 game or 3 games, and they lost like 9 games. So these guys don't even really understand what losing is like. And when it comes to finals, this is what they do. This is the first final they lost. You get what I'm saying? So coming into this game, for them, they were just kind of following the spirit of Lionel Messi. This whole tournament, they have not been the best team, but they were a team that never stopped playing until the last whistle. They had no fear in their game. They were aggressive from the beginning and everything. So as they're coming and knocking down big teams that feel that they should have won. They should have won. Egypt should have won. Egypt should have easily won. England should have won. These are 2 big games that their fan base, it was obviously won. It had to have been a miracle performance from Lionel Messi to turn the tie, which he did. And they literally just couldn't admit that their team choked. They couldn't admit that. So therefore, they got on board with the conspiracy that this whole tournament is corrupt. So instead of acknowledging how crazy it is this team is still keep going, even though they shouldn't be here. And the dilemma now is, if Argentina wins, for a fact the conspiracy theory of the whole thing is fixed towards Lionel Messi just escalate to the max. Because this is the last round of the hate watch. So on the other side, you have Spain. Spain is a team that has always been good. I don't think they've lost a 90-minute game. I can't even remember how long. How many World Cups? The only way they usually go out is through penalties. Like I said, Spain produces the best midfielders in the world. The brain of the soccer field is the midfielder, and they've always been fine. So they've always been there, but their problem was that they never produced great strikers. That was their problem. There was never guys who could finish well. Let's say that. And they have people like Morata or Fernando Torres. Guys that could come up in certain moments, but certain moments they don't. So there's times where they really perform, and sometimes they just don't. Not consistent is the word. Not consistent. So this World Cup was a little different because they have 2 guys. They have Lamar, and then they have Nico Williams on both flank that can really help out when it comes to just creating more chance to score. and you have Dani Olmo in the middle as well. He's also really good at scoring goals. So now it's not just the strikers. They have their wingers who are also very much goal orientated. And in this tournament specifically, they're only letting one goal. And then when they played against France, we realized, oh my God, this team, we actually forgot. All our attention was in Lionel Messi's story, but we forgot about the Spain story because Lemar wasn't really performing to his best because he's still recovering from injury, and they were slowly putting him into the game. But we were all paying attention to what he's doing, Lionel Messi's doing over here. It was wild. But the Spanish, it didn't even matter. Their midfield is just full of world-class midfielders, and they were just rotating, and they're all fit. Everybody's fit. And that was the problem. And nobody was going to score any goal under Rodri's watch. Rodri has been absolutely fantastic. Well, so when they played against the French, I was like, this is the real test for them. And they have passed with a flying colors. Okay, so coming into this game, they were the favorites. How is Argentina going to beat the Spanish team? And they didn't. I don't think Argentina had any kind of plan at all. They were basically came in with hey, football God's going to take care of this. Lionel Messi's over there. Just put some guys in there. I think that was a mistake. You know what I mean? The football guys did not take care of it at all. From the beginning of this game, let's go to the stats. These are the stats of the game. Spain had 68% of the possession, had 20 shots, 11 on target. Argentina had 0 shots on target and only took 3 shots. There's nothing else to say. The whole time as the game was going, Argentina, all they were doing was holding on. Rodri made sure Lionel Messi didn't come into the box shooting at all. And they were outstanding. And even in the lineup, if you look at it, the first lineup that Spain used, Nico Williams not in there. Pedri's not in there. Okay? You don't have some of these, you don't even have those guys in there. And those guys come in later on in the game. And as the game went on, Argentina just got so frustrated, started playing very aggressive, you know. And at the 90 minute, when it looked like it's just a matter of time when Spain can score. At the same time, you still have that hope that maybe the football gods have something to say about this. That's what you're thinking. I don't think so. Enzo Fernandez, the engine of the midfield in Argentina, he decides to go all in against Kubasi, which he was already on a yellow card, and he gets a red card. So a tournament where everything was going their way has just went against him. Red card. So now they're man down, and they're getting squeezed already. At this point, all they can hope for is that they go to penalty, and Martinez is going to save them. That's it. That was really it. That was their plan. Even if you look at the subs that Argentina made, Lautaro Martinez did not play the game. The guy who's been very instrumental of them getting here, scoring goal-wise, he didn't even play in the game. They put in defenders. Argentina always puts in more forward, especially when they're losing at the last minute of the game. But this game, they were getting so squeezed, they were like, please, let's just get to the penalty. Even the goal that Spain scored, Saint Emoni, he was so tired, and he was fixing his foot. And then at that moment, when you just switch off for a second, Fernando Torres, boom, a goal. And the game is over. The right team has won. So congratulations to Spain. The torch has been passed. Lionel Messi to Lemar. Now, overall, the game wasn't as great as we thought. But really, in these finals, is very much this is what I expected. Because both teams are number 1 and number 2 best teams in the world. Very tactical, very much like we're not going to make a mistake. Who's going to blink first? It just happens Argentina blinked first. And then, boom, Spain won. It was simple as that. Now, I'm hearing everybody's like making a thing of it. Oh, Argentina's discussing this and discussing that. Truthfully, if Argentina would have won this game, I believe our takes would have been completely different. Actually admiring how aggressive they are just to win the World Cup. How passionate. That's what we would use, passionate. The fact that they've lost, and then we have, like I said, remember who's on the hate train, okay? You have all these people have this anger towards this team who's just spitting out all in the name of passion. And when passion comes into play, doesn't mean they're right. It's just emotions. That's it. You know what I mean? So, anyway, that's it. This has been a great World Cup, right? This has been an absolutely amazing World Cup. They made I think they made like double the amount of money. They made 7 billion last one. This one they made 13 billion. So pretty successful in my opinion. A lot of people didn't like the halftime breaks. I didn't either. Is that going to continue? I'm not sure. How was a halftime show? We don't need that. I don't want to see that again. Please. No, I don't want it. I love seeing all the famous people there, and I mean, I think we were just a great host in my opinion. I think America has done a great job, a great job. And really, if you think about, there was a number of the FBI and how much they seized and how many attacks that were threatening this event that they stopped. It's absolutely mind-blowing. So sometimes you look at these events and you're like, wow, this is pretty clean. Why are we worried? Why do we need all these securities? Everybody seems fine. No. The reason we need the security is that you don't even know it. You don't even notice it, okay? That's how privileged you are. That's how much security is out there. Think about the final of the World Cup. We had U.S. president, we had Canadian president, and we had Mexico president, and we had some Argentina guys. And we have the king, the Spaniard king there. Think about that. What kind of securities are we there? My buddy was saying we have snipers watching the other snipers. Like snipers are watching each other. Yeah, But anyway, I thoroughly enjoyed this World Cup. It was perfect. It was the right ending. The right team won. And, vamos to Spain. Yeah. All right, that's it.